Hey, welcome back to my channel. Got an Armattan Tadpole 3-inch frame on the bench. This is going to be a Nano build. Very, very small components, freestyle type of build, and I'm going to do an unboxing, if you will. Just going to open this package up, take a look at the content, see what we get, kind of get my general idea of what I think about it. This did not come from Armattan or any individual associated with the company. It was just a friend of mine that gifted it to me, so thank you for that. And we're going to go ahead and check this bad boy out, and then I'm going to give a little bit of a little sneak preview of some things that I'm going to put together with this. So let's check this frame out. Alright, so go ahead and pop this plastic open here. It's basically just a wall hanger. So I'm kind of interested to see what their frames look like up close and personal. Never had an Armattan frame. Something like a lifetime warranty would come in very handy for me, considering the fact that I don't even think I got a chance to tune this quadcopter before I snapped the arm off of it. I'm curious to wonder your opinion, what you think of this. So put it in comments. Now, as you can see from the picture, it makes you wonder, because it looked like more glue than carbon, but I am no carbon expert by any means, so we'll leave it at that. So I'm excited to replace that frame with this one, and then this is going to be a totally different Nano build. So before I get off subject, so here's one side of the package, and then this is the other side of the package. So looks like, I don't know, what is that, like a big giant sticker? Yeah, big giant. That's look at the size of that sticker. I'm not a sticker person. I don't put stickers on stuff, but that's my prerogative. Alright, in this package here, looks like we're gonna get the camera protection, the rear mounts. So instead of having your round standoffs with your standard screws, they got some different kind of hardware in here. There's a front and then the back, and then top plate, and a little spongy, non-sticky. Let me see how thick that is. So we're looking at about 3 millimeters thick. Some kind of foamy. Yeah, probably not going to use that. If you guys are unfamiliar with this product, I recommend it. I like it. I've never met him, but he makes a lot of sense here. This stuff is really sticky. You just wet it down. If it gets dirty, and it becomes really sticky again. I use it on everything. This is the thin stuff, and I only have that much left of the thicker stuff. So on this build, obviously, I'll end up using this thinner stuff, as you can see. Now, let me pull it out of the package for you. Good grief. I'm just trying not to make this video too long for you, but you know, you get what you get with me, right? So there's the thickness of the thin stuff, and there's the thickness of the thicker stuff. And then in this bag here, looks like we get some hardware. Oh wow, another sticker, big one, custom built. So another giant sticker. And then this here, it looks like landing pads. I have to look. There's only 2 of them, so let's look real quick and find out. Alright, so we're supposed to cut the middle portion out. Okay, so we're going to have to do our own surgery here and cut one end off the other end. And then this middle part, I guess, throw in the trash. So you're going to have these two little pieces on the frame, so sort of like that. All right. So get a good picture of this if you want. It'll have some measurements and so on it. In case you own this, I do this because in case you have this frame used or something and you're wondering, maybe you didn't get instructions with yours. So here's a picture of mine. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in now, and we're going to look a little bit closer at some stuff here. 2 Velcro straps. Anyway, so they give you 2. The frame itself, it's got a serial number stamped into it. Wow, that is really flexible. Like, I'm very surprised. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on that either. That is very interesting. You see that? The frame is 2 millimeters thick, so, but still, wow. I mean, it's straight, right? And just a little bit of pressure. I'm trying to translate the feeling in my hand. I assume when you get this other hardware and this top plate on, it's not as flexible, but oh, that's not very flexible. It does twist a little bit though. The twisting of it is pretty good. Interesting, because like I have other 3-inch frames that are like they don't flex much at all, and I'm putting twice as much pressure on that frame. But this frame here got hit from a 5-inch at the race course, and that's the prop strike. Broke the arm. All right, so as you know, these little foamy pads, and then we have a bunch of screws here for the hardware. So they're your kind of standard stuff, really. Motor post to motor post is 105, and then front to back it is 80. As you can see, there's no slot, so these are actually made specifically for the 9mm motor. So the motor to motor, so from here to here is 9mm. So you're not going to be able to do your 12mm, which are like your 1408 motors, stuff that's larger. You're not going to be able to fit them on here. As far as the size of the frame for your Nano motor choice, if you go with these motors, they do have extremely long wires on them. So I mean, you can see there, you can wrap all the way through the frame out the back with these, and then you can see on this iFlight frame, I cut these motor wires back to fit that frame. And then in here, I'm just going to have to choose the right one, but shouldn't have no problem going to that 16 by 16 stack. Now, that would be probably the biggest thing that is interesting about this frame, because this frame only accepts a 16 by 16 stack. They do have this adapter board or some sort that like sticks out here and out here, that run like your Whoop style boards, but you won't be able to run a 20 by 20 on this thing. So let me go ahead and put the hardware in this real quick, and we'll get some more measurements. All right, let me jump in here real quick. There's a little piece that was hiding out. See that little piece there? So on the instructions, right here, the little piece goes in between there. So in between these two rear components, there's a little piece, and that's to zip tie your, looks like it's to zip tie your antenna down. Now mine, I don't know if you can see, but the little space, the little U shape in here, the little U shape inside there is full. So the plastic isn't, can you see that? So before I mount that into the frame, I want to get a knife and cut that out so that's not plugging that hole when I go to put my antenna in there, where that goes, in between here. It says it in the instructions that it faces up. And it's kind of rubbery. So I guess you can kind of squish it in there and then it'll stay in there. Let me pop in here again real quick just to show you something. And you're putting these frames together. You got that screw. Turn it counterclockwise while you push it into the hole. Okay. Turn it. They hear that? And then let me show you again. Just push it down on the frame there. Counterclockwise. There. That seated that first thread. Okay. So when you go to screw something together, you turn it counterclockwise until you hear that pop. And then that means that your threads are starting correctly. And that way, when you run a steel screw like that into an alloy piece of metal, you're not going to cross thread it and strip it all out. I imagine if you strip this out while you're putting it together, you're going to be really mad. I mean, I would be. So that's a little trick. While we're on the subject of tricks, you want to keep all your screws loose until you got them in there. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't tighten these all the way down. These 4 are still loose. But anyway, we got it all together. I'm going to snug all these down, just kind of give them a little snug, because I'm going to twist and turn on the frame. I'm really curious to wonder, like, wow, this thing is really, it's really little frame. And it's really flexible. I'm surprised. I can't complain because, you know, it's a lifetime warranty, right? So the only thing is a flexible frame, from what I gather, allows for more, you know, the motors to wiggle that frame around. And I'm just talking from like the bigger quads, like 7-inch and stuff. It's really bad. You don't want that. So the weight of the frame, without stack mounting screws in it, and without camera mounting screws in it, and we still have our battery and our foam pieces here. So the frame itself is 19 grams. Wow, that is light. Let me give you an idea. This is the bottom plate of my favorite 3-inch. Bottom plate only. 31.5, just over 31.5 grams, just for the bottom plate. Not to mention all the hardware, the screws, the top plate, you know what I mean? This thing is going to be, that's crazy. All right, foam. Obviously, we're going to take the sticky pad out. I don't want to get too technical here with this, but let's try to get accurate since we're dealing with some really lightweight materials and stuff. So you got the little battery foam pad, which I'm probably not going to use. And then here's the 4 stack screws. Okay. That's everything. And then we're at 20, so 0.43 grams for all that stuff. And then here's 1 strap, 22.34, 2 straps, 24.36. So the entire package, 24.36. That is super light. Now, I'm kind of worried. I'm a little concerned here because this thing is really, really small. Really narrow. Let me grab one of my flight batteries. All right, we got our flight pack here. I'm gonna put that bad boy on there. And that's what it feels like anyway. Here's a 3S pack, okay? Look at this frame is so small. I don't even think I have a battery pack that could fit on this thing. Been here real quick, and the fitment on this camera with this board is something I would say you wanna be aware of, other than just the screws going into the side and having the space there. But let's look at this camera position. If I push this camera completely forward, because this frame actually has, this camera can slide forward and backward. Okay, that's to you slide it all the way forward, you can get more camera tilt. If you slide it all the way back, then you can't get very much camera tilt. And then even sliding it forward or back, it doesn't matter, it still exceeds the cage. Okay, so that's all the way back, and I'm hitting the top of the camera lens. All the way forward, there's quite a bit of camera exposed out the end of that frame. So let me zoom in real quick here. Alright, so if you look here, we'll pull it forward. That's all the way forward. Okay? And then this is all the way back. And it looks like it doesn't exceed it, but it does. If you slide your stick across there, it hits the camera lens. And then all the way in the forward position, so you can get more camera tilt, it exceeds the cage a fair amount. I try to get something flat. You can see right there, but almost the entire lens itself is sticking out past the frame. So that's something to consider. The other thing is, down inside here, when you slide this all the way forward and you try to get more camera tilt, it doesn't. There's a capacitor down in this bottom corner on this camera. Let me tilt it up here, right there, kind of hidden. There's a capacitor on the bottom corner of this camera, and that's kind of a shame that capacitor's there, because it won't allow you to rotate this camera angle past that point. And actually, you don't even want to push it all the way down there to get the more camera angle, which is right there's about perpendicular to my camera. Okay, so you can see that's really not a real aggressive angle. Okay, I mean, this is a tiny quad. It's probably not meant to fly very fast or whatever, but you know, this is knowledge for you. That's all the camera angle you're getting out of it before that capacitor touches the board. But here's the thing is, since the camera exceeds the frame, you need to tilt it down to give yourself a little buffer. You know, you don't want to be pushing right against that capacitor. You want to pull it down a little bit, so you're limiting your camera angle even more. And that buffer in there is really not that much. You know, you can see light through there now. So you pull this down, that's on the plastic, but you can see if you push it very much more, you know, right there, that board is touching the frame. So I'm not sure if this is a great match for this frame. I'm gonna run it though, because I'm hopeful that it's a nice looking camera. So, but I just wanted to make that, you know, make you aware of that. I want to jump in here real quick and kind of go through. I'm doing some mock-up for the build coming up on the channel, and I thought, you know what, some of this information I want to put in this video of the frame. Okay, so if you're ordering similar or same components, you know, I want to bring this to your attention, because you're going to need to purchase some extra stuff. Okay, so if you're ordering the Runcam Nano, this is the Phoenix 2 Runcam Nano, and then also the iFlight Nano 1206 motors, you're going to need to order some screws. So I just want to real quick bring this to your attention. The stack itself, as far as clearance goes, I'm looking pretty good here. See if I can, I'm going to put this up through here. Bear with me 1 second. You see that right there? So as we rotate this camera, it actually pulls forward to rotate down. You can see that camera tilt there. So we're not running into the stack. Should be okay. So plenty of clearance from the stack. I know there's a lot of frames where that connector on the back of the camera runs into your stack. So on this one, it doesn't look like we're going to have that issue. Alright. I don't have these props pushed down on here. They're just sitting there for mock-up purposes. So also on the frame, these pieces of hardware here, all four of these have a right way and a wrong way. Okay, they actually have a thicker and thinner part. Okay, and then the camera, this Nano camera, comes with some screws. It comes with 6mm screws. It also comes with 3mm screws. Okay, so they're all M2, and you have a choice of 6 or 3mm. Neither one of them work for this frame. The thickness of this frame is exactly 4mm. Okay, so if you use a 5mm screw, you're only going to catch like 1.5, 2 threads into this camera. Okay, so when you go into this camera here, you're only going to go into this housing like 1.5, 2 threads, which is kind of weak in my mind. So if you use the 6mm screw, the camera doesn't tighten it. The screw bottoms out into this camera housing before it actually tightens it down. So what I found is if you take one of these ready-made, it's not plastic, it's paper, but it's coated so well with plastic. I just took a drill bit, drilled a hole, and cut it out and made a washer. It's like the perfect thickness. It's about just a little less than 1/2 millimeter thick. So it actually worked, and it tightens down the camera. If you can find 5.5mm M2 screws, that's probably the best case scenario. 5.5mm. That's going to give you enough threads into your camera. I mean, you can use the 5mm, and it does tighten down. But me personally, in aluminum housing, I don't want just 1 or 1.5 threads. I want more thread length in there. So let me get a close up here. So as you can see, I just basically drilled a hole through the paper, and then this is what's gonna work for me for now. I'm not real concerned about the paper. I might put it in between the camera and the frame, flip it into the inside. But that works now. So without the paper on there, the screw bottoms out into the housing, and then the camera just twists and turns and doesn't tighten up. So, and then also I wanted to mention these iFlight Nano motors. They come with screws already. Okay, so here's the bag of screws that they come with. This bag of screws, you have your choice of either 5 or 7mm. So you can choose 5 or 7. Unfortunately, with this frame being only 2mm thick, the frame is only 2mm thick, you actually need a 4mm screw. So the screw going in through the carbon and then through the other side is a 4mm. Let me get a close up here. So they supply you with a 5mm screw, okay? So here's the 5mm. You put that into this frame. You find the hole here. There we go. Alright, watch the top of the motor. See how that comes through there, and there's the motor winding right there. If you go any further, you're gonna probably destroy the motor. So if you go 1mm farther, that's probably gonna end it. So the screws that I need are these little dudes, 4mm. So that's what you're gonna have to buy if you're going to run this frame with this motor combination, so that you don't accidentally run your motor mounting screws up in there. So you can see there, it just stopped right at the very top, and that's tight. So I thought I'd mention that at the end of this video. And I'm excited about getting this thing built on the channel, and I just want to show you something real quick. Look how the prop line is even with the frame, the top plate. So when you put your battery on there, all the weight of the quadcopter is on the bottom side of the prop line, and all the weight of the battery is on the top of the prop line. This thing is gonna be absolutely sick. I can't wait. Anyway, hopefully it's not like a total waste of time. So hey, if this video helped you out, I would appreciate, thumbs up and subscribe. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. It all works. Enjoy the breeze.